The 2006 Champions League final was played on the 17th of May to decide the winner of the 2005-06 UCL campaign. Spanish La Liga giants FC Barcelona faced English Premier League big boys Arsenal at the Stade De France in Saint-Denis, Paris. Barcelona were appearing in their fifth final, having last won the tournament in 1992. On the other hand, Arsenal were appearing in their first ever final and in doing so became the first club from London to feature in the final showdown. The teams were managed by opposites in terms of coaching experience, with Arsenal being guided by Frenchman Arsène Wenger, who was successfully in his 10th year in charge of the Gunners, winning 7 domestic trophies including 3 Premier League titles. Barca boasted former Dutch international and icon Frank Rijkaard, a Champions League winner himself while playing for Ajax in 1995. A young and budding manager, Rijkaard was in his 3rd season in charge of the Blaugrana, with 2 La Liga title wins under his belt. Arsenal, who had qualified for the group stage by finishing 2nd in the previous 2004-05 Premier League season, were drawn in Group B alongside the aforementioned Dutch giants Ajax, Swiss club FC Thun, and Czech football hotshots Sparta Prague. The North Londoners managed to top the group and qualify for the round of 16 knockout stage, where they drew La Liga big boys Real Madrid. A 1-0 away win at the Santiago Bernabeu in the first leg, followed by a goalless draw at Highbury in the return leg, saw the Gunners eliminate Los Blancos 1-0 on aggregate. They then met Italian titans Juventus in the quarterfinals, dumping them 2-0 on aggregate. In the semis, Arsenal faced off with Spanish side Villarreal, sinking the Yellow Submarine to book a final duel with Barcelona. Arsène Wenger would then set up his side in a 4-4-2 formation with a box-to-box midfielder and a defensive mid in the center of the park and 2 wingers on either flanks complementing 2 forwards. Barcelona would defeat Arsenal 2-1 in a dramatic encounter that saw an early sending off and an 80th minute winner from Barca's super substitute Juliano Belletti. With this defeat, Arsenal became the first English club to lose in all 3 European tournament finals, which include the Champions League, the UEFA Cup/Europa League, and the now defunct Cup Winners' Cup. So, without further delay, welcome to Football Attitudes, What Happened to Every Pro, Arsenal's 2006 Champions League losing 11. Goalkeeper Jens Lehmann. In 2003, Lehmann joined Arsenal from German club Borussia Dortmund, replacing legendary English goalkeeper David Seaman. In the 2006 Champions League final, the German shotstopper saw red with the score still at 0-0 in the 18th minute for a professional foul on Barca's Cameroon international Samuel Eto'o. This made him the first ever player to be sent off in a Champions League/European Cup final. However, that did not stop Lehmann from being named the tournament's goalkeeper of the year after going 853 minutes, or rather 8 consecutive games without conceding a goal, a Champions League record. Lehmann would later play for Stuttgart in Germany after leaving Arsenal in 2008. He retired in 2010 but would come out of retirement in 2011 and sign for Arsenal again due to an injury crisis that left the Gunners with only 1 fit senior keeper. At the end of the 2010-2011 season, Lehmann would retire once again, this time for good. In 2019, he was appointed assistant coach to Manuel Baum at FC Augsburg in Germany, where he served for 1 year before joining Hertha Berlin's supervising board in 2020. Currently in his early 50s, Jens Lehmann was sacked in early 2021 by Hertha after it was revealed that he had sent former German footballer and current pundit Dennis Augo a WhatsApp message that was deemed to be racist in relation to Augo's work as a pundit for Sky Deutschland. He ended up apologizing for his comments on Twitter. Right back, Emmanuel Eboué. Arsène Wenger signed Eboué in 2004 from Belgian side KSK Beveren, and the Ivorian would go on to make a total of 214 appearances with 10 goals in 7 seasons at Arsenal. Eboué would join Turkish club Galatasaray in 2011, where he won 7 domestic trophies. The defender returned to England and joined Sunderland in 2016, but was released shortly after without making a single appearance. He would unfortunately endure financial and domestic struggles after failing to find a new club to call home. Thankfully, in 2017, Eboué was offered a job coaching the under-14s team at former club Galatasaray. At 39 and officially retired from playing, Emmanuel Eboué launched his own football academy in his home country of Côte d'Ivoire, with the former defender aiming to cultivate the next generation of footballers in Africa. Centre half, Kolo Touré. Joining from Ivorian club ASEC Mimosas in 2002, Touré started his Arsenal career as a defensive midfielder as well as a right-back. In the 2005-06 Champions League campaign, he scored the winner in the first leg of the semi-finals against Villarreal, a goal that would end up sending Arsenal through to the final. After 7 seasons in North London, winning 2 FA Cups and a Premier League title, Toure signed with Manchester City in 2009, where he was joined by his younger brother, Yaya Toure. The defender would later play for Liverpool and Scottish giant Celtic, respectively. After retiring in 2017, he was appointed as a member of the Ivory Coast national team coaching staff. Toure also served as part of Celtic's coaching staff under Northern Irish manager Brendan Rodgers in the same year. Currently aged 41, Kolo Toure is a first-team assistant coach still under Rodgers at Premier League club Leicester City. Centre half, Sol Campbell. In 2001, the defender joined Arsenal from bitter rivals Tottenham Hotspur on a free transfer, becoming a villain and a deeply unpopular figure amongst the Spurs supporters. During his 5 years and 195 appearances at Arsenal, Sol Campbell won 2 Premier League titles and 2 FA Cups. In the 2006 Champions League final, the defender scored Arsenal's only goal in their 2-1 defeat to Barcelona. He later played for Portsmouth and Arsenal again before joining Newcastle United, where he eventually retired. Delving into coaching, he was appointed head manager of Macclesfield Town in 2018, but would mutually leave his position a year later. At 48, Sol Campbell's last managerial job was at Southend United in 2020, but he occasionally shows up as a guest pundit for English Premier League matches. Left back, Ashley Cole. Cole was a graduate of the Arsenal Youth Academy and made his full senior debut in 1999. He would go on to make 228 appearances for the Gunners, winning 2 Premier League titles and 3 FA Cups while being an integral member of the 2003-04 Invincible team. In 2006, Cole controversially joined London rivals Chelsea after 7 years at Arsenal, where he lifted several domestic trophies including 4 FA Cups. With a total of 7 winners' medals, including the 3 he won with Arsenal, Cole holds the record for the player with the most FA Cup wins in history. He would finally win the big one, the Champions League trophy, in 2012 after Chelsea defeated Bayern Munich in the final, and the following season he would add the Europa League trophy to his accolades. The left-back later played for AS Roma in Italy, LA Galaxy in the United States, and Derby County in England before retiring in 2019. He joined Derby's coaching staff on a short-term basis before Chelsea appointed him as one of their youth academy coaches. Now in his early 40s, Ashley Cole left his role at Chelsea to join former teammate Frank Lampard's coaching staff at Everton in February 2022. Defensive midfielder, Gilberto Silva. In 2002, Gilberto Silva was signed by Arsenal off the back of his brilliant World Cup performances with the Brazilian national team. After 6 seasons and 3 domestic titles at Arsenal, Silva joined Greek club Panathinaikos in 2008, with later stints at Grêmio and Atlético Mineiro, both in Brazil. The defensive midfielder retired in 2015 and was appointed technical director at Panathinaikos for 7 months before leaving the role. He is a patron of the Street League, a UK-based sports charity that aims to tackle poverty and give the youth opportunities to succeed in life and workplaces. At 46, Gilberto Silva has since been busy appearing as a football match analyst and pundit, on top of having his own football podcast called The Invisible Wall, a nickname he adopted during his playing days. Central midfielder, Cesc Fabregas. As a 16-year-old in 2003, the Spanish midfielder did not contemplate breaking into the Arsenal first team immediately. Although the Gunners went the whole 2003-04 campaign undefeated, Fabregas failed to make a single appearance, but the following season, the young midfielder started getting opportunities. After 8 brilliant seasons at Arsenal, Fabregas would return to Barcelona, where he started his footballing education as a mature and developed professional, playing under his childhood Barca idol, Pep Guardiola. In 2014, he would return to England and instead sign with rivals Chelsea, where he won 2 league titles, 1 FA Cup, 1 League Cup, and the Europa League in 5 seasons. He would later join French club AS Monaco in 2018, and at 35, Cesc Fabregas currently plays for Italian Serie B club Como. Right midfielder, Robert Pires. After a number of on- and off-field problems at French club Marseille, Pires left after 2 seasons and joined Arsenal, replacing Dutch sensation Marc Overmars, who left for Barcelona in 2000. The 2006 Champions League final loss turned out to be Pires' last game in an Arsenal shirt. However, he wouldn't get the proper send-off as he was subbed off for tactical reasons after only 18 minutes when goalkeeper Jens Lehmann was shown a red card and had to be replaced by Spanish shotstopper Manuel Almunia. Pires joined La Liga club Villarreal, spending 4 seasons before later playing for Aston Villa in England and FC Goa in the Indian Super League, where he retired in 2016. He became an ambassador for grassroots soccer, an international non-profit organization that uses the power of football to educate, inspire, and mobilize communities in stopping the spread of HIV. Voted as one of the top 10 players in Arsenal's history, Pires represents the club in an ambassadorial role. At 49, he moved to Ibiza in 2020, where he's currently employed as a coach for Spanish lower league side Peña Deportiva. Left midfielder Alexander Hleb. After 5 seasons in Germany with VfB Stuttgart, Hleb signed with Arsenal in 2005. Manager Arsene Wenger used the Belarusian at different midfield positions given his versatility, although he mainly played on the right wing. Hleb would join Barcelona in 2008, but he constantly underperformed, forcing loan spells to a couple of clubs including Wolfsburg and Stuttgart again in Germany and Birmingham City in England. A further spell in Turkey and Russia with Konyaspor and Krylia Sovetov Samara respectively was followed by a return to Belarusian club Bate Borisov and later FC Islok, where Hleb retired in 2019. At 41, Alexander Hleb came out of retirement in July 2021 and signed for newly formed Bahrain football club Al Qaldiyah as a player. Forward, Freddie Ljungberg. Although playing as a second striker in the 2006 Champions League final, Ljungberg was naturally a winger and spent most of his career at Arsenal since joining in 1998, winning 2 league titles and 3 FA Cups. After playing in North London for 9 years, Ljungberg moved east and joined West Ham, where it unfortunately didn't work out due to constant injuries. The Swedish winger would then spend the remaining years of his career playing for the likes of Seattle Sounders in the United States, Celtic in Scotland, and Japanese club Shimizu S, where he retired in 2012. Ljungberg would then pursue coaching, becoming Arsenal's under-15s academy coach in 2016 before linking up with former Arsenal academy director Andries Jonker, who was appointed first-team coach at German club Wolfsburg. Unfortunately, Jonker and his coaching staff would get sacked in late 2017, prompting Ljungberg to return to Arsenal, this time as part of Spanish manager Unai Emery's coaching force. When Emery was sacked in late 2019, Ljungberg stepped in as interim manager before the appointment of current manager Mikel Arteta. Currently in his mid-40s, Freddie Ljungberg is yet to pursue another coaching job. Forward, Thierry Henry. The Frenchman joined Arsenal in 1999 from Italian side Juventus and is considered one of the greatest strikers of all time and one of the greatest players in the history of the Premier League. Henry was one of the key assets in Arsenal's successes of the late 90s and early to mid-2000s, ultimately becoming the club's all-time top goal scorer. In the 2006 Champions League final, he was the captain of the Arsenal side that conceded the crown to Barcelona. 2 years later, and after 4 domestic trophies and numerous individual awards, the French striker joined Barca in 2007, where he finally got to lift the Champions League trophy in 2009 after defeating former English rivals Man United in the final. Henry would further his playing career in the United States at New York Red Bulls, with a homecoming return to Arsenal on loan sandwiched in between before finally retiring in 2014. He would begin working as a football pundit for a little over 3 years before leaving in 2018 to focus on his career as a coach. The former striker's coaching CV includes the leading managerial roles at Montreal Impact in the United States and Monaco in France. Now in his mid-40s, Thierry Henry was inducted into the Premier League's Hall of Fame in 2021 and is currently an assistant to Belgium's national team manager Roberto Martinez. He also made a return to punditry and analysis, joining CBS Sports' Champions League coverage alongside presenter Kate Abdo and ex-footballers Jamie Carragher and Micah Richards. Substitutes. Forward, Robin van Persie. In 2004, the Dutchman signed for Arsenal and would spend 8 seasons winning the FA Cup while establishing himself as one of the deadliest strikers in the Premier League. After becoming a fan favourite with the Arsenal faithful, Van Persie would unexpectedly and controversially join league rivals Manchester United, where his lethal left foot finally won him a deserved Premier League title in 2013. Going on to later play for Turkish giants Fenerbahce from 2015 to 2018, RVP would rejoin boyhood club Feyenoord, where he retired, and a year later in 2020 would become an assistant coach to Dutch manager Dick Advocaat. At 39 years old, Robin van Persie is still currently employed at Feyenoord as the co-head coach of the club's under-16 team. Forward, Dennis Bergkamp. After leaving Ajax, Bergkamp joined Italian hotshots Inter Milan, where he underwhelmed, and 2 seasons later he would accept a move to Arsenal in 1995. Known for his grace and elegance and a capability of playing in a free role, Bergkamp became a fan favourite among the Arsenal supporters and was a huge part of their trophy successes. He retired in 2006 with the UCL final loss to Barca being his last competitive match, though he was an unused substitute. After studying coaching, Bergkamp was appointed assistant under Frank de Boer at Ajax in 2011. He would later move to a more training-focused role after de Boer left in 2016. After a string of poor results, Bergkamp was unfortunately sacked the following year in 2017. Now in his early 50s, he is yet to secure another coaching job. However, in May 2021, the Dutchman was inducted into the Premier League Hall of Fame for his playing brilliance. Midfielder Jose Antonio Reyes. In 2003, Arsenal would sign Reyes, and together with the other squad members, he would win the Premier League title as an Invincible. Reyes would later play for both Madrid clubs, but it was at Atletico where, playing alongside the likes of Diego Forlan, Sergio Aguero, Simao, and Radamel Falcao, he would win the Europa League twice. The midfielder also played for Benfica in Portugal before returning home to Sevilla, where he aided the club in winning 3 consecutive Europa League trophies. In 2019, Jose Antonio Reyes was unfortunately involved in a tragic car accident with 2 of his cousins that sadly took both his life and one cousin at the age of 35. Midfielder Mathieu Flamini. Born in Marseille, France, and developing through the Marseille Academy, Flamini rejected the club's offer of a professional contract, instead opting to join Arsenal in 2004. Throughout his time at Arsenal, the midfielder was often used as a utility player but always played his part whenever called upon. Flamini enjoyed 2 different stints at Arsenal, with the second one seeing him win 2 FA Cups. He also played for Italian club AC Milan, where he won the Scudetto, and also played for Crystal Palace and Getafe in England and Spain respectively. Flamini, who retired in 2018, established his business venture GF Biochemicals in 2008 alongside his business partner Pascale Granata. Working with experts from the University of Pisa and the Polytechnic University of Milan, the company developed technology to produce sustainable alternatives to oil-based products such as plastic, with the aim of reducing greenhouse emissions. Currently in his late 30s, Mathieu Flamini also created the BioJournal, an online magazine devoted to reporting news from the world of bioconservation, alongside establishing a personal care business called Unity. Defender Gael Clichy. In 2003, Arsene Wenger convinced the young Frenchman to join him at Arsenal, with Clichy eventually becoming an Invincible in his debut season. As a result of the remarkable title win, Clichy became the youngest player to win a Premier League medal at only 18 years old, before the record was broken 14 years later by Phil Foden, who was only 17 years old when he won the league title with Man City in 2018. After 8 years at Arsenal, the defender left to join City, where he got to lift 2 more Premier League titles, 2 League Cups, and the FA Cup. He would later play for Istanbul Başakşehir in Turkey, where he was instrumental in their first ever title win in 2020. At 37, Gael Clichy currently plays for Swiss Super League club Servette FC after joining them in December 2020. Defender Philippe Senderos. Senderos signed with Arsenal in 2003 but unfortunately suffered an injury shortly after, which ruled him out of the famous 2003-04 Invincible season. He made 116 appearances for the Gunners and won the 2005 FA Cup. Following loan spells to AC Milan and Everton in England, Senderos permanently joined London club Fulham on a free transfer in 2010, where he played for 4 seasons. Other clubs the centre-half played for include Scottish big boys Rangers and Houston Dynamo in the United States. In 2019, he moved back to Switzerland and joined FC Chiasso, where he eventually retired. At 37, Philippe Senderos successfully completed his diploma in club management in May 2022 and will be hoping to see him soon in the technical area. Goalkeeper Manuel Almunia. Almunia was signed by Arsenal in 2004 as a backup to Jens Lehmann. In the 2005-06 UCL campaign, the Spanish international continued as second choice but found himself thrust into the spotlight, replacing Robert Pires in the 20th minute of the final after Lehmann was sent off. Almunia's performance was decent for the most part, only conceding the 2 goals late in the game. He would later play for West Ham on loan before joining Watford, where he spent 2 seasons. The shot-stopper was unfortunately forced to retire in 2014 on doctor's advice after a rare heart condition was picked up during a medical with Italian club Cagliari. Currently in his mid-40s, Manuel Almunia is a goalkeeping coach at UAE side Al Jazeera.